Hey man,
Good morning, Eric. Or good
morning.
morning for me.
How's everything over there?
Everything's good, man. Finally, we made this happen.
Sorry for all this
No,
trouble.
apologize, man. Like last time it was a mess, and just got back to the States. So yeah, when you told me Tuesday or Monday, I think it was Monday, Tuesday.
Monday.
I was at the airport. Like I had just arrived to Phoenix.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry man.
no, all good.
So you went to like Chile to like teach like Exos mentorship phase 2, right?
Yeah, so I teach courses for Exos all around the world, and I did a tour visiting. Let me see, it was 5 countries. I think I taught in Slovakia, Spain, um, Chile.
Okay.
I feel like I'm missing something else. I think it was just those 3 countries, but that was a lot of courses in each.
Cool. So first of all, like, can you introduce yourself for the coaches in Taiwan? Like, before the pandemic, like Exos was like a big hit in like Taiwan and China.
Okay. Yes. First of all, thank you, Eric, for wanting to talk to me, and nice meeting you. I never
Good
met.
to meet you.
So yeah, my name is Jair Lee. Most people call me Jay, and I'm a performance specialist, meaning I'm a coach at Exos. I'm based in Phoenix, which is our headquarters, our Exos headquarters. And I've been with the company for 10 years. Officially, actually, this week is my 10th-year anniversary.
Whoa.
As a full-time employee. With the company, it will be 11 years. But full-time in Arizona, 10 years. So it's amazing. It's been an incredible opportunity and experience. And besides coaching athletes, all types of athletes, I teach for Exos education courses all around the world. So yeah, that's what I do.
Cool, man. I went to like Exos at Phoenix like three or 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to do the phase 2 and phase 3 mentorship.
Okay. Who were your instructors?
Phase 2 was like Tristan.
Okay. Only Tristan.
And phase 3 was Victor Hall.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Cool, right?
Cool. I didn't know that.
It was like it was like 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So I must have been traveling, teaching.
Oh,
That's why
I saw Natalie,
Okay.
and I saw, is it like Nicholas Hill?
Close Hill, yeah. Correct.
Yeah, didn't saw you, so I think probably you were like traveling.
I most likely I was traveling. Yeah, a lot of times if I don't get to teach in those courses, it's because I'm traveling.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Probably next time I go to Exos.
Well, you already did all the phases, all the mentorship. So
No, probably do it again.
that's right. So Eric, what do you do? Tell me what you do. So because this is the first time I'm meeting you.
Okay, I'm a performance coach at like Taiwan,
Okay.
and I train like basketball players and like a lot different types of athletes, like basketball, volleyball, table tennis,
Cool.
and like boxing and hockey, whatever. Yeah, and soccer.
Okay. So a lot of different athletes. Right on.
Yeah, and I did this because the pandemic started. I didn't know like how to like there's like no education in Taiwan, so I figured that probably talk to the coaches so I can learn more.
Right. That's great.
So
That's great. I mean, that's been so amazing about the pandemic is the connections that
yeah,
we build. But yeah, how are things over there?
we just like started like 2 months ago, and everything's pretty cool right now.
Okay. Good.
Cool. Good. Probably after the pandemic, probably invite you come to Taiwan.
Yes. I mean, I know we had a course. I believe we had a course in Taiwan.
Yeah. The last time it was like Brock Christopher.
Yeah, was that 2019 or 2018?
I think it's 2019.
I think it was 19. You know what? Because
Yeah.
I was scheduled to go. I thought I was
Oh.
I was so excited because I want to go to Taiwan actually. But
Know what? I was his translation.
Oh, you were the translator.
Yeah, I was translating for Brock.
Oh, cool.
Oh, and one thing, when I was in Phoenix, I was translating for like Tristan and Victor because I went there with a bunch of coaches from Taiwan and China.
Oh, interesting. You also work as a translator then.
Yeah, only for like some education, only like performance, like whatever. Oh. Oh. Hey, sorry.
Hey, I'm back. I don't know what happened. I clicked something and it just literally kicked me out.
Okay, probably the Wi-Fi.
No, I think it was me.
Oh. So anyway, I translate for like
You were saying
courses.
okay.
Yeah, translating courses like for coaches, only for like coaches with like performance, that kind of stuff.
Great. I like it, Eric.
So because and I'm also like doing my own education right now. So probably today I want to talk some topics like performance, movement, and a little bit about coaches doing education at the same time.
Let's do it. Let's give the people who are watching something to talk with.
Okay. First of all, there's a lot of different types of athlete you train, I believe, right? So, is everything you do follow like the Exos, like the movement and like movement prep, that kind of stuff?
The short answer will be no.
Okay.
I think one of the coolest things of having a system or having an organization, a way to organize your training sessions, is it allows you to add, take away, create something, make something, modify, change. So I think more often than not, I'm closer to what the Exos training system is, but it's not being used exactly as a recipe. It's just being used as a framework, which I think is very, very important to for us coaches and trainers and physical therapists. I think it's very important to understand that having a framework is the key rather than having a recipe. So if you were to watch a session, I very often just create the structure of what are the components that I want to hit on that session. So let's say I know I need to do a warm up.
Okay.
And it may include pillar preparation and movement preparation, but depending on the time and how much time we have and how much time I want to invest on that warm up, I might not be able to do too much per se.
Okay.
So the pillar preparation and the movement preparation become almost one single component. So that will be the first step. And then depending on the goals of the athlete or the athlete and their training experience and their sport and the training phase that we're in, we might do plyometrics, we might not do plyometrics. We might do speed and agility, or we might not do speed and agility. We might just go straight to the weights. Or we might not do the weights and just do speed and agility. So I think it's very dependent. To follow step by step the way we organize our system, I think it will be too, as we say in America, we say too cookie cutter, meaning like, just follow the recipe. And I've always liked to say in my courses that I like to think myself as a chef, not a cook. And I think that distinction that I learned from Mike Boyle, I didn't come up with it, I think is very, very important, because the chef is able to understand the ingredients, is able to arrange the ingredients the way he thinks is going to be best for what he's trying to create. And he's doing this based on experience, learning, mistakes. A cook is only going to be able to follow a recipe. So you open a book, and you say, okay, like, we're going to make this dish today, and I'm going to follow step by step. And hopefully it turns out well. Well, that might work sometimes, but we're not talking about making enchiladas or making, we're talking about helping humans improve their performance.
Yeah.
So I think recipes are not going to work very well.
Yeah.
So yes. The long answer is no, I don't follow it all the time, but it does help me stay organized. Even if you ask me right now, if you say, Jair, can you come up with a training session right now for this athlete? You gave me a case study per se. I know I can come up very quickly with a reasonably okay program. I'm not going to say the best program, but okay program, just because I have a structure. And that's the benefit of the Exos training system.
Cool. Love it, man.
Yeah.
So, from what you just answered, and I kind of want to dive deeper into like movement and speed. Okay.
Yes, let's do it. I mean, I don't really know much, but we'll see what happens.
So, like, I know there's a lot of like NFL player like train at Exos. So if I'm gonna like develop their like speed, how long, like let's say from a week, and how many sessions will you be touching on like weight, and how many sessions you be just doing like movement or like just sprint?
Okay. So first of all, let me be just very upfront. I don't really get to work with the NFL athletes much. If I get to work with the NFL athletes, it's because I'm covering for another coach. But I usually don't get assigned those groups. But the times that I've done it and what I've seen is these athletes are training anywhere between 3 to 4 times a week. And within those 3 to 4 times a week, we are touching components of speed every single training session.
Whoa.
Yes, it doesn't have to be necessarily through acceleration or absolute speed or change of direction. It could be maybe through plyometrics or room working a power or a power component, meaning Olympic lifting or variations of lifting or any type of speed movements. If we're looking at the force velocity curve, we're going to be working within the power or speed
all the time
components. I will say most of the time, because you're talking about athletes who already have a very high level of training experience. They are already at the top of their game per se. So this is a component that it's already essential for them, and it's part of the process. It's part of their training. So yeah, I think that the short answer is yes. We touch one of the components of speed components every single training session for the most part.
Cool, man. So you said you don't often like be assigned to like NFL player.
Yeah.
So what kind of player like you train the most?
At the facility lately, because of my role as educator and I get to travel a lot, I get to coach youth athletes. So that means ages anywhere between 11 years old all the way to 18 years old, all different sports and levels. Oh, I just want to say hi to my girlfriend. She just joined.
Cool.
So yeah, I train. I get to work with them, and then depending on the time of the year, I may assist with baseball, or I may help with any other groups that they're in house. Either help or coach the group. It varies a lot for me. Like I said, I've gone to train with the NFL athletes or the football athletes, but it will be for a short time. It will be maybe for a week. It will be maybe for a couple of days, because I'm covering for another coach who's on vacation or who's
okay.
out. Yeah.
So a lot of different athletes.
Yeah. In the past, in the past, I guess it's all everything in the past. I haven't been coaching athletes since I think the last time I really started coaching, it was like July.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think you probably miss it, right? Miss coaching athletes.
I do. And actually, after our conversation, I'll have breakfast and I'll go to the facility and I'll at least watch some training sessions, just because I miss being on the training floor.
Oh, thank you for your time, man. So like a lot of athletes, like what type of athletes is like you like probably lean more like, or like probably just, let's say, what kind of athlete you like to train the most?
Youth athletes, the young athletes, and that's why I work with that population. High school level athletes, I think, is one of my favorites. I've gotten to work a lot. I love to work with youth athletes, any sport. I've worked with a lot of soccer players, from professional to youth, and it's a sport that I seem to understand well enough to be able to speak coach to them and make it relatable to them. So yeah, youth athletes. But I really enjoy working with the youth athletes, and the reason is because you get to really make an impact on their life, not just on their sports career. Yes, you might help them become better athletes, but for example, the other day, not too long ago, maybe it's been a while now, probably like 5 months ago, one of my former youth athletes from Exos, we exchanged communications on Instagram, and I saw that she was lifting weights, and she was actually lifting pretty heavy weights. She was doing like a deadlift or something, and I was like, "Hey, Jay-Z, hi, I'm happy to see that you still lifting weights and playing basketball. That's awesome." And she replied by saying, "Yes, I do, and I want to thank you for all those years helping me out. Everything that I learned at Exos has helped me now that I'm in college, and has developed this or has created this passion for strength training, and I think I'm gonna become a coach or a trainer." So that type of impact, right, that you get to have in a youth athlete is very different than what you will have in a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a lot more rewarding to get that type of experience with a youth athlete who might get impacted for the rest of their life. So that's what I like to do.
That was like, I'm so touched by that.
Yeah, it is great. It is great. Yeah.
So it's like I also train like youth athletes. Like,
yeah, great.
Most of my athletes was like high school kids.
Cool.
There's like little like pro athletes or like little athletes, probably about 2 or 3 athletes that are on national team, but most of my athletes like high school kids. So I get the feeling, but what you just said, like when you coach them,
you get it.
Yeah, there's a big chance that you are able to like change their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is, like I said, it's so rewarding, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's kind of like the same thing that why I did education.
Yes.
there's like young coaches out there, like they want to train athletes, or they want to be, let's say they want to do their best on their field, like our field. But
Yes.
and as a coach and have like more experience, I'm really happy that I have the chance to like help them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Eric. I think for the most part, I will speak for all of us in our field, and I think we joined this field because we want to help others.
Yeah.
We want to have the desire to help and to share our passion for sports, our passion for fitness, our passion for a healthy lifestyle. And I think education is also a way to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, for me, it's been. And I was telling my girlfriend not too long ago about it, and I was like, "Hey, listen, like I find teaching so rewarding because I get to see the impact that I make on the participants.
Yeah.
But also, I know that they're making an impact in their community and the people they work with. So it's a way for me to my work and my passion for sports and physical activity to transcend beyond what I can do here at the facility, right? So now I've traveled the world, and that's a big overstatement. Obviously, I haven't seen the entire world, but I've been to a lot of places, and I know that my work has helped other people there that I'm never gonna get to meet, and that is amazing. That is so amazing to think about it that way.
Yeah, just like what you just said, just like always from the beginning till now, like everything you say is like inspires me.
Good. That's the whole point. We need to inspire each other, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So, so being at Exos like 10 years,
Mhm.
is that like how I don't know, because I went to Exos like 3 years ago and I'm amazed by that. So how was like how was the process for you?
The process to join Exos, you mean?
And yeah, joining Exos and the 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, the 10 years have gone by very fast and at the same time very slow. You know, our perception of time is just weird.
Yeah.
Um, I tell you this, Eric, I was walking out of the facility there on Tuesday night, kind of late on Tuesday night, around 7 p.m., right before we close. Um, and I was walking to my car, and just walking out, I was just thinking, I literally shouted, and I was like, "Woo! I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm still here. Like this is amazing." Um, because I get to do what I love to do.
Yeah.
I get paid for it
Yeah.
with amazing people, and I get to work for an incredible company. And for me to be doing it for 10 years, it's almost surreal, everything that I've experienced in those 10 years. Um, the process, it was being at the right place, knowing the right people, having the right amount of passion and maybe a little bit of knowledge, and a pinch of luck. Um, that's the truth. I mean, when I think about how I joined Exos, how it happened, it's almost like a movie. I don't want to bore anybody with the story, but long story short is that this is the most important part of this. I was waiting to speak to my biomechanics professor, Dr. Scott Lynn. I was in the university, right? I was outside of his office, and two of my classmates were in his office talking to him before me. And I was just outside and the doors open, and I overheard the conversation. And my classmates were talking about their internship, which was at a place called Core Performance, which was part of Alpha's Performance. And they were talking about how cool the experience had been, or it was going at the time, and that they were learning a lot, and it was incredible, blah, blah, blah. I heard that and I was like, damn, that sounds really cool. I'm going to ask Scott Lynn about it. And I had a really good relationship with Scott Lynn, and I still do. And it was impressive. The moment that he asked me, he's like, wait, Jair, what is it that you want to do? I said, I want to work with athletes. I would like to work with athletes. And he said, ooh, perfect. This will be the perfect place for you. Let me talk to my friend who's the manager there. That's it.
And you just joined Exos?
Well, I mean, obviously there's more of a process to that, but that's the starting point, right? That's how much luck I got to be able to join Exos.
Cool.
Yes, man, it's incredible. And like I said, I got to do a little bit of everything with Exos. Like, I got to coach, I got to teach, I got to travel, I got to be in photo shoots, I got to be in their videos, I got to help with, you name it, from cleaning to marketing to modeling. Like, it's just amazing.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. But the most important thing, Eric, is that we go back to the same principle. I'm still helping people. I'm still helping people through fitness, through sports, through physical activity, and through something that I enjoy myself.
Man, I can literally feel your passion through the monitor, man, through my iPhone.
That's good. That's good, Eric. And I'm not gonna say I know it's not always like this, right? It's not always like, it's not always roses, and it's not always, as we like to say here, like unicorns and rainbows, right? Like, every day. But when you look back and you see everything that you've done, and that you're healthy, and then you have a roof, and then you have a job that you enjoy, and you know, it's like, what do I have to complain about? I have nothing to complain about. I have everything to be grateful for, because I know that many people would like to be in my position. So I got nothing else to say but just thank you, right? And to keep going. So that's what I do. So yes, man, coaching is fun. Coaching at a facility is really fun. I got to learn a lot from other coaches. In fact, this morning when I woke up, I saw a post from Nick Winkelman. Let's go back and let's not talk about me. Let's talk about coaching. So Nick Winkelman, right? So Nick Winkelman was already like a director when I joined Exos. So I got to work with him. I got to see him coach. I got to learn from him. I love his post today, right? He said in his post, he said, the cue, right, the instruction or the cue that we give to our athletes, the cue is to a coach what a pen is to a poet. And I was like, man, this guy is so effing smart, right? Like, I love it. I love how he makes these analogies and relates things so simple, right? And I'm like, yeah, I agree. And I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, I'm gonna translate this post and I'm gonna make it in Spanish, because I talked to him not too long ago. Well, it's been a while actually, like a year ago, and I said, man, let's translate to your book in Spanish. We need to get your words in Spanish so more people can learn from you. So anyways, I might do that and see what he says when I translate that. Wait a minute. I just saw a comment here from Coach Lou. It's like, he was so young.
Probably like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I met him a while ago. Hey, but what are you talking about, man? I'm talking about it's just the sun. It's just a lot of time in the sun. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, man, it's amazing. Thinking about coaching and all the coaches I've been through Exos that I've gotten to learn from, it's been fascinating, and also all the missed opportunities. A lot of missed opportunities. There's going to be a lot more missed opportunities than what I've taken advantage. But I'm just human, and that's what humans do.
Okay, so I kind of want to ask, like, I know you're like, you coach athletes and you also do education. Yes. What is the difference between coaching athletes and like coaching coaches?
Oh, that's actually, dude, that is a great question. Really good question, Eric. I like it. You're thinking. There is and there's not, right? I think if I had to summarize this, what's the difference between coaching athletes and coaching coaches? So there's a divide, right? There's a divide because there's a certain amount of education that we want to do with our athletes. We want them to understand. We want them to learn what we're doing and why is it important. But the athlete doesn't need to understand the intricacies. So what do I mean by this? Athletes don't care and don't need to know what the stretch shortening cycle is.
Yeah.
They don't need to know. They don't need to know the nuances. They don't need to know that it's based on a reflex. It's called the myotic reflex, myotic. I'm speaking a lot of Spanish, so it's weird. I don't even know how to say it anymore. But it is a reflex, right? And it's, blah, 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 right? The athlete don't care about that, doesn't need to know that, and teaching them that will be useless.
Yes.
Right? But what he needs to know is that based on this concept, right, called the stretch shortening cycle, and based on some movements, we're going to be able to enhance his performance. Therefore, we need to train with movements that they are at a certain speed, with a certain intent, right? Blah, blah, blah. So that's as much as they need to know. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the coach needs to know to a certain extent a little bit of the intricacies of the stretch shortening cycle, right? Like, for example, that we're going to talk about slow and fast stretch shortening cycle. Right? That slow stretch shortening cycle is going to be somewhere between less than 200 or slower than 250 milliseconds, and a fast stretch shortening cycle is going to be less than 250 milliseconds. That some research is going to call out that 150 milliseconds or less is going to be a true plyometric. Anything else is going to be too slow to be able to actually enhance that, reflex and make any improvements, not just to the elastic components, but also to the nervous system, right? That actually is going to trigger this, blah, 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 right? So the coach needs to know all those intricacies.
Yeah.
And to then go back and put it together to the movements.
Yeah.
And to the actions.
Yeah.
So we need to be the subject matter experts, right? So that's the main difference. Now, when it comes to coaching them, the way I coach a coach is I'm coaching the coach so he can learn as many intricacies and details as possible. When I'm coaching the athlete, I'm coaching them so they can actually perform.
Yeah.
Learn just the fundamentals so they understand why they're doing it and why it's important. But then they need to be able to execute, right, at the highest level, at the highest possibility to their abilities.
Yeah.
So that's the main difference, and that divide is very big.
Yeah.
And the problem is that I taught you something funny for those that are actually watching, and maybe you that maybe taught before, is that if I go for a while and I'm coaching coaches, and I come back, and if Eric, one of the managers, Eric Dannenberg, you probably met him, by 2-3 years ago, he had long hair. He still has
I know that guy.
The only coach with long hair, so it's easy to recognize. For example, if I go today and I say, "Hey, Eric, I want to coach a group. Let me coach a group," and he said, "Yeah, man, coach this group." Most likely, I'm gonna coach them a little bit with too much detail and information, and that's because I'm coming from coaching coaches, and I still haven't switched my hats.
Yeah.
Like from coaching coaches to coaching athletes. Yeah. So that happens a lot, and when I go travel to teach and then come back, and I'm coaching my session, and I catch myself that I'm giving too many details to the athletes, and I'm like, okay, all right, this is a conversation within myself. I'm like, all right, Jay, just tone it down. They don't need to know this. Just get them to do this. Let's go. So it is an adjustment, but there's one similarity, right? And in both of them, the coach and the athlete, they need to both learn.
Yeah.
Depth of the learning is what makes the difference.
Cool. I kind of like make the same. I don't want to use mistake.
Okay.
But I kind of like did the same thing. We just said like.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, like just like last week, I finished my own education, and after I finished, I went to like train one of my athletes, and I kind of like overemphasized the details. It was like, and my athlete was like, "What?"
Yes. Yeah, man. And let me drink water. Yeah, like definitely. Right? It happens. It happens very, very commonly. So we just need to be aware of that, and that's why coaching is an art and it's a science, as we often say. So we need to be aware of that.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Okay. So I kind of like want to like talk more about like training like athletes.
Yeah.
Something like that. So like force velocity profiling is like a big, huge topic like recently. And from where I know or what I know, like what Exos was doing, I don't think they do a lot of like force velocity profiling, right? So I kind of want to know your thoughts about like these kind of stuff, like jumping force velocity profiling or like sprinting.
Yeah. So first of all, Eric, you're right. We do and we don't. We are in the process of starting to use
180 sprint.
No, 180 sprint. Altus uses that. We don't use that, but we're starting the process to introduce velocity-based training. The way we often done it, and that's the way we still teach it, is to do it indirectly per se, or technically it's directly. So we look at a jump profile, right? We look at the non-counter movement or a squat jump.
Yeah.
We look at a counter movement jump, and we look at a drop jump, aka a depth jump.
Yeah.
And we look to see the difference between those three, and we can plug in the eccentric utilization ratio. Bottom line, what these three different jumps are gonna provide us an insight of the type of performance the athlete can execute within the velocity curve, right? So normally what you would expect is that squat jump is gonna be your lowest jump.
Yeah.
Then your counter movement jump is going to be about anywhere between 5 to 15% more. And then the drop jump or depth jump is technically a depth jump because we just tell them to step off and jump as high as you can. It's going to be then the next highest, right? So you have squat jump, counter movement jump, depth jump, right? So you got this ideal linear increase in height of the jump, right? Which is will tell you that the athlete is efficient in utilizing the stretch shorten cycle. Okay. Now, that will be the ideal scenario. Now, we know that not everybody fits within that category based on their sport, based on their biomechanics, and based on their composition, like just the way, right? Now, so that will be one way to profile, which will be able to allow us to target where, okay, do we need to target more starting strength? Do we need to target more counter movement and loaded plyometrics? Or do we need to target more short ground contact time plyometrics and more rapid ballistic movements? That will be one way to categorize it. Another way that we're targeting this force velocity profile spectrum is by using Sparta. Sparta jump, like the Spartans, Sparta jump is actually a pretty cool system based on a single force plate. We're moving into a double force plate. They have a single force plate, which is gonna allow us to see the profile of the jump. Now, the cool thing about the Sparta is that it does not necessarily give you the lines. It doesn't give you the perspective, but it tells you three different pieces of information, which are very important, right? It's going to take you the eccentric load. It's going to tell you the amortization phase.
Okay.
It's going to tell you the impulse phase. Based on that profile and how it's created by your jump, right? We're going to be able to target whether you need to work more on the same type of categories. Okay. Do we need to train more through full range of motion to be able to express force through a longer period of time? Do we need to work more isometric strength and eccentric strength or eccentric exercises to get you stronger so you're able to change directions faster?
Yeah.
Or do we get you stronger so you're able to produce more force on that concentric phase? So we target it in that way, not necessarily with velocity-based training, right? We're not using push, we're not using beast, any type of transducers, right, or accelerometers to be able to measure the speed of the exercises themselves. So we profile that way, either with the jumps or with Sparta, see how things are looking. And with some athletes, like for example combine, we might be able to do it on the field as well, where we might be able to measure a sprint, where we're able to see the 5, 10,
and
20 profile, and we're able to see, hey, where is it that you're attaining your average high speed? And based on that, we can actually see, okay, do you need to work more on the starting strength, more on the concentric side of things, right? Explosive side of things, or we need to work more towards a reactive, elastic reactive component side of things. So 3 different ways. I just gave you 3 different ways that we can profile. But yeah, I just didn't want it to confuse it with velocity-based training because that's a different type of.
Yeah, I know. Get that. Yeah. So it's like what I just said, like 20-meter or like jumping profiling. That was like what, like Cal Diaz or like, yeah. Say on like NSCA, right? But kind of like want to like talk. How is it different with velocity-based training, and why don't Exos use velocity-based training?
How is it different? I think, and I'm not an expert on either of this, so I just want to be clear on that. But the way I understand it, and what I think is different, is that with velocity-based training, what we're going to do is we're going to target certain exercises, like let's say a squat, a deadlift, a bench press. Right? Those are the main exercises that you're going to use the velocity-based training. So what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to set your parameters within load, meaning how much weight you're using, and the speed of the movement based on the speed of the movement, which is velocity, right?
Yeah.
You're able to tell you which quality or characteristic you're trying to develop, right? So if you're supposed to be working on max strength, right, or strength speed, right, so on the left side of the curve, you're going to be moving the bar, anywhere between maybe 0.5 to 0.7 meters per second.
Yeah.
So what is that going to do is going to be able to establish a relationship between the load and the speed of the movement, and making sure that you are working with the quality. Now, let's say that my goal is to say, Eric, today we're going to be working on strength speed. You're going to be doing deadlifts, or let's say squat, which is easier to relate. You're going to be doing a squat, and we need you to move the bar on the concentric phase, right? We only look at the concentric phase. On the concentric phase, we want you to move the bar at about 0.7 meters per second, right? Or that's actually probably fast, probably like 0.5, 0.6.
Yeah.
So based on that speed, right, if let's say you're moving the bar at 0.9 meters per second, right, most likely that will be like, Eric, we need to put more weight on that bar.
Yeah.
You're not working the quality that you were supposed to be working.
Yeah.
That weight is too light, therefore you move too fast. Okay? So that's basically velocity-based training.
Yeah.
Us, by profiling, we're targeting just the exercises that we believe that they're gonna target those qualities, but we're not measuring those exercises to ensure that you're performing them at a velocity that is gonna be related to the quality that you're trying to improve. I think that's the difference. I think. Yeah. So this is the difference, right? Because when there's a relationship between, let's say, doing a squat for speed, and there's going to be probably a relationship with the way that you perform a counter movement jump, right?
Yeah.
And that's why when you're establishing the speed that you're going to be moving, that's why you do different sets, right? You do it with an empty bar.
Yeah.
You do it with medium load. You do it with a heavy load. So you can actually get a perspective and a spectrum, you know, what your profile is going to look like. So, yeah.
Yeah, get it.
So anyway, so that's what I understand. And I know I'll have a lot of friends, coaches, friends who obviously are very well versed on this. The other day we actually had in our Continue Summit, we had Brian Mann talking about velocity-based training, which was fascinating, telling us the story. So yeah.
That's cool, man. I love the way, I mean, I don't do velocity-based training because it's like, it's not really the way they move on the field. So I don't really do velocity-based training.
Okay.
Yeah, but I still think that that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think, with that, like I said, I'm not an expert by any means, but for the little bit that I understand, what I think I like about the concept is it allows you to be a little more specific within your training.
Yeah.
And then it's going to allow you to target those qualities that you want to develop.
Yeah.
And most importantly, not to waste sets.
Yeah.
From what we understand now is that there's going to be a certain threshold of repetitions that you're going to be able to perform on a certain quality. And once that quality once the quality is not being met within the intensity, the speed, or the load that you're trying to move, you're actually basically just getting tired.
Yeah.
Training fatigue.
Yeah.
And so for me as a coach, yes, I love exercise, but man, like, if I can get the same results with 3 sets instead of 5, why would I do 5?
Yeah.
I just 3, man. So I think that's what's so valuable about it.
Yeah.
And it's fun for me because we use it, like our closest thing to velocity-based training right now, our facilities will be using Kaiser equipment.
Yeah.
So with the Kaiser equipment, right, we can see the power output.
So you just, when the power output drop, you just cut it.
If we see a drop of between like 10%, that's already huge, right? 5% will be probably like where you want to be at.
Okay.
Training speed, strength. So you know, like that's really neat because we don't change the load. I have you do several repetitions, and as you're starting fatigue, there's going to be a drop in performance. That's just naturally occurring in every human. Nobody can sustain their peak power like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're actually holding back. If you're holding back, yes, you might be able to maintain, right? Because you're not giving it everything you got. But then we get to be able to see that. And for me, talking about, again, learning and teaching, that's one of the most important things to teach an athlete is to understand that we don't have unlimited amount of energy to use at our disposal, and that every single time we're going to end up dropping our performance. And when we do the Kaiser squad, which now that we're talking about it, I kind of want to go do it today. It's pretty neat because you see it. You start seeing your big power output. You're not hitting it, and then just dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And then you realize that you're taking longer breaks and longer breaks and longer breaks and longer breaks in between each repetition, right? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty neat. Yeah, the other tool is going to have to be by the coach and its ability to see the speed of the movement. And yes, it is subjective. And yes, it's probably a lot. There's going to be plenty of room for error. But I think it's also to a certain degree obvious that when I'm asking my athlete to get up on the squat as fast as they can with that load, and they're getting now buried because their nervous system is taxed, is fatigued, I think it's pretty obvious when you can see that to be like, okay, this guy has nothing else in the tank.
Yeah.
Let's just stop the repetitions, right?
Yeah. Cool. So because the Instagram have like, we go live, the Instagram have like time limits. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask you a last question. So
yes, do it.
What do you think is the future for like strength and conditioning or like performance coaches? Like years ago, probably there's like velocity-based training and there's like force velocity profiling right now. So what do you think is the next big thing in performance?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me pull my 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 crystal over here. I From what I think I understand, I think it's the integration of technology. It's obviously the next big step, but it's the integration of several systems or methods within systems. So if you see right now in the market, right? So velocity-based training is not new. Obviously, it's not. It's been there for more than 20 years, but now it's accessible, right? I can use an app and I can do it. But that's good. But now you have this component over here.
Yeah.
Now you have here aura, right? You have a ring. You have a tell you your HRB and it's gonna tell you recovery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you have aura ring, or you're gonna have what do you call it? What's the other one? What's the strap? Anyway, I forgot the name of the strap. What's the name of the strap?
It's okay.
Anyway, so you get all the systems now that it's gonna allow you to now track your recovery and your readiness, right? So it's gonna be able to tell you, like, hey, like you're ready to perform, yes or not. This is your nervous system. This is your recovery level. This is stress level. Okay, so you have this, you have that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have some other nutrition areas that tell you that. Anyway, so the idea is how can you integrate all of this so it gives the coach an entire profile. So the way I envision it, and is that literally it's going to be almost like a video game, right? I don't really play video games at all. For those that listen, my last video game console was PS1, PS5. Okay, so anyways, but when I used to play video games and you used to play whatever, car racing video game or a fighting video game, right?
Yeah.
You pick your fighter, and it gives you a profile, right?
Yeah.
It tells you their speed, it tells you their agility, it tells you their strength, it tells you like martial arts, blah 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 blah, right? It tells you like this profile that is very simple to understand, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I envision, that when you walk into a facility, and I hope Exos does that. When you walk into the facility,
there's all kind of technology.
I'm literally on my phone. I'm able to see like Eric, like an avatar in Eric, and it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, just moving like that, right? And it's gonna be like, it's gonna give me your profile for the day, and it's gonna tell me, yeah, he needs to go a little bit easier today because he's not at his best.
Cool.
Now, funny thing is about this, Eric. Every human being is already built in to have that.
Yeah.
We already have it in here.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to be attuned with our body to understand, today I'm not feeling the greatest, right? And we need to also let the ego understand that, hey, maybe I need to back down a little today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we already have the system in here, so it's built in. It's just trying to now export it out of our brains, make it a little bit more objective, so it just shows me something. So that's what I see in the future. I think that's going to happen, so we can make better decisions and faster decisions.
True. Get it.
That's what I got.
Thanks, man.
I'm
sorry, because the live and the Instagram have like time limits for like an hour, so I'm sorry.
Keep it simple, short.
And I'm like, I really want to invite you to do this like a second time or like a third time. Okay? But we can, I'm going to like ask you the time, okay?
Yes, let's do it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time. And for those who are watching, thank you. And you keep kicking ass, man, and helping your athletes over there.
You too.
See you. All right, man. All right, see ya.
See you. Okay. So that's all for today.